Hello you guys, what's up? We are back today with another video, and today is actually Valentine's Day, which is why I look kind of decent for once. You're probably watching this video a day after Valentine's Day because I am the freaking master procrastinator and I do not film and edit things until the very last minute. But in my full defense, this is actually the fourth time that I've filmed this video. The first time my mic wasn't on and so there was no audio. The second time I looked like an actual freaking potato. The third time, okay, so I filmed all the Q&As. I attempted to film this Q&A like 2-3 weeks ago, and 2020 has just been such a great year, but my headspace is like in a completely different space now, and so my headspace is in a completely different space now. Is that even something you can say? I'm just in a completely different headspace now, and so watching my own video from 2 weeks ago really made me cringe so hard. That means we're growing, right? So I'm back today. I asked you guys again, I'm sorry for the 12th time if you guys had questions for me, but I'm gonna jump right into these. By the way, if you don't already follow me on Instagram, you should go follow me there, as well as on my TikTok, because I post content on there a lot more often than once a week. So I'll see you there. Some of these are a little juicy, so how much money do you make as a nurse? So if you want to know how much money someone makes, you can just Google their job title and also what city they live in, and it'll give you a pretty good idea of how much money they make. I do live in the Bay Area or near the Bay Area, so if you look at that, you'll get a pretty good idea of how much money I make. I can tell you that when I started out as a new grad, I worked in Los Angeles and I made, I think it was like $46 an hour. But that number quickly went up after my 6th month and then also my 1-year mark. How did you graduate debt-free? So I was extremely lucky to graduate college without any debt, which means that I don't have any student loans or anything to pay off, which is really, really nice. I can just focus on saving for my retirement and saving for my house and, you know, those kinds of goals. But the reason that I was able to graduate debt-free was because when I was in high school, I was a pretty ambitious high schooler. I was pretty on top of all of my stuff, and I applied to so many scholarships. Every scholarship that I was eligible to apply for, I basically applied for. The application for scholarships is pretty similar. It's always like some kind of essay / personal statement / cover letter in addition to your resume, and then maybe like a supplemental essay. But I basically applied for a bunch of scholarships. I obviously didn't get all of them, but the ones that I did get really did add up. I also did receive scholarships from UCLA, so that was extremely helpful. In terms of cost of living, my parents were very, very amazing. I'm very grateful that they helped me pay for my rent while I was in college. I never lived on campus because living on campus, if you didn't already know, is extremely expensive. I want to say it's like $15K a year at UCLA. I ended up living off campus. I lived in a triple for all 3 years I was at UCLA, and my rent was anywhere from $600, $700 a month. And that's living with 2 other girls in the same room. So just keep that in mind. But we were also in Westwood, which is kind of a very nice bougie part of LA. And then in terms of actual like living expenses, so like food or buying clothes or like going shopping and buying things that I wanted, I have always worked pretty much since it was legal for me to work. Even before it was legal for me to work as a kid, I was like selling pencils to my classmates. I was dog sitting for other people, and when I turned 16, I started working at a bakery. So I was a barista and also was like a cashier, also worked in some labs. And then when I went to college, I also continued to work part-time. And so all of that money is my money to spend. And I've never had to ask my parents for money. I think I've been really wise with my monetary decisions because all the money is like money that is super hard earned to me. So for example, my first ever job, I made $8 an hour. And so it really put into perspective, like, hey, if I'm gonna buy this $40 thing, I have to work 5 hours. Is that really worth it for me to purchase this item? Do you plan on always being a nurse? The great thing about nursing is that it is such a flexible career. There are so many things that you can do with it. You can work in the hospital, you can work in the clinic, you can work remotely, you can work with insurance companies. The opportunities are really endless. You can also do so many things to advance your career. I will definitely always 100% be working as a nurse in some capacity or another. It just might look a little bit different than it did before. Are you actually happy, or is it just a front that you put up? I actually get this question quite frequently because I think I look pretty positive online. And if you meet me in person, you'll realize that I'm pretty similar. I'm a little bit more sarcastic. I'm a little bit more savage in person, but otherwise my personality is pretty similar. I will say that depending on who I'm hanging out with, I definitely match their energy level. So if you're like a super outgoing, happy person, then I'll match you on that energy level. And if you're like quiet and more reserved, then I'm also going to act like that. I will say that I have been happier in this last month in 2020 than I have been in a very long time. So, and I've been going to the gym every day. Like, who am I? 2020, new year, new me. How do you balance your career in nursing and on YouTube? This is a great question. I think, you know, there is always time to do the things that you're really passionate about, right? You make time for the things that matter. And for me, making content is something that makes me so happy. And I love sharing my journey with you guys. And so that's something that's always a priority for me. In terms of how I actually block out my time, I have a very wonderful Google Calendar that's pretty loose. I don't always follow my own schedule that I make, but it is really nice because I plan out like, hey, I'm working Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, which means that I can film on Wednesday and then do editing on Friday or whatever it is. I do kind of have to plan it out in advance, especially because my schedule can be a little bit more unpredictable. Tell us a fun fact about you that we would not know. A fun fact? I'm not really like a fun person. Oh, I repeat, I cannot poop in public. Comment down below if you are the same way. Oh my God, I have to poop like in my house, like on my toilet, like, you know, in the comfort of my home. When I'm like traveling, I have a hard time pooping. So I think in the last like 2 years working as a nurse, I have pooped at work once, because I really couldn't hold it, but otherwise I like literally cannot. What are your insecurities? I think my biggest insecurity is like my personality. I'm like a very introverted person and I can put on a front for a couple of hours, for like 3-4 hours. But beyond that, oh my God. I'm like an introvert and so I like to stay at home. I'm a homebody and I really need my alone time, and the people that I really love and are close with, I could spend forever with them, but everyone else, it's like super exhausting and draining for me to hang out with people. So I do wish I was a little bit better at that. Now we're getting into the relationship tea. I got a question asking me, why don't you ever share stuff about your relationships? So if you follow me on Instagram, I've been on Instagram for like 3-ish years now, and I rarely share anything about my personal life, and especially not about my relationships. I don't know, I think I've just always felt like it's not really my information to share. Like, not everybody wants to be put on blast or be in the public eye. I am always scared because you never know how things can turn out or what things will happen. And so I don't want to put any information out there and then have it turn out to be some scandalous info, if you guys know what I mean. But I also feel like my relationships are a really big part of my life and make me who I am, and it explains a lot of the, like, you know, the changes that I go through and the emotions that I feel. And so I am going to start sharing a lot more information with you guys about what's going on because it's just such a big part of my life. So we'll start right now in this video. I'm going to answer a couple of questions about relationships that I have never answered before. So, okay. Well, we'll start slowly. How many relationships have you been in? Some of you guys think I have never been in a relationship, but the answer is that I have been in 2 relationships. They were both really long relationships. One was 5 years and the other one 3 years. So there's that, some juicy tea for you. How old were you when you had your first romantic relationship? So I'm gonna not consider middle school love because I don't think that really counts, but my first like actual boyfriend was when I was a freshman in high school and I dated him for 5 years. So yeah, all the way into college, into my second year of college. What are some deal breakers for you? Ooh, interesting question. It's really funny because I think the type of person that I've liked has always been really similar, and I'm like, oh, I don't have a type, but they all kind of end up being kind of the same. I think it's really unattractive to me when people don't work hard for their goals, or they're not ambitious and don't have like a next set of goals. For me, at least, I am constantly thinking about like, how can I be a better person? How can I give more? What is the next thing I should be working on? And it's really hard for me when the person that I am in a relationship with, or were to be in a relationship with, isn't also like that. Like, they need to like also have the same mindset, if that makes sense. I'm also just like not a huge fan of like facial hair. I don't know, personal preference. Were you a popular girl in high school? I hope no one from my high school is watching this. I would say I definitely like peaked in middle school. Middle school was when I felt like a very, very cool person. Like, all the boys liked me. I was like this very extroverted person who was like friends with everyone. I said hi to everyone. And then when I got to high school, I think I was so stressed trying to apply for college that I had zero energy to pretend to be this like extroverted person that I actually wasn't. And so when I got to high school, I pretty much hung out with like the same couple of people. I definitely spent a lot of my brunches and lunches just in the hospital trying to catch up on homework and studying. I was just really nervous that I was not going to get into college at all. And so all of my time and energy was focused towards that. How has it been adjusting to your new jobs? Thank you for asking. It's been really, really amazing. I definitely had, I think when you like first make that switch, the first like, you know, 1 month, 2 months are pretty rough. But now that I'm past that phase, I am really, really happy to be doing the jobs that I am doing and contributing in the ways that I can be contributing. In 2020, I've been really conscious about making decisions that make me happy and that are in my own best interest, and not what like other people want me to do or what other people expect me to do. And I have just never been happier. My heart is really so full. I'm really, really happy. Thank you so, so much for 100K on YouTube. I cried. I was like, I can't believe we're here. I hit 100K on YouTube and 100K on TikTok within like 24 hours of each other. And I was so, so happy. My heart is so full. I constantly tell you guys this, but I literally have like 2 friends. And so you guys are such a blessing, and I'm so lucky to have a community of friends like you guys. So thank you so much for subscribing, for watching my video, for hanging out with me every week. It really does mean a lot to me. Thank you for 100K. I couldn't have done it without you, and I'm so, so excited for what the future is going to bring us. But I think that's the end of this video. If you like this video, please, please, please give this video a big thumbs up. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so that you don't miss my weekly uploads. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.
I could swear it's been 700 degrees in here since you came in. I could swear that this room has been running out of air, and now it's starting to spin.